when you're doing a movie like this, you're just creating this whole world, this whole reality, and all of the things that go along, with it. The creatures and the actual planets and the spaceships and all this technology. So it's an absolutely tremendous design challenge, and one that I think, you can very easily underestimate. Just the way we lit the spaceships, we stayed with a very high contrast, single source sort of lighting style, which I'm very fond of, and tried to keep it in the realm of being as photorealistic as we could. The black holes were really interesting to me. I mean, you've seen black holes in science fiction movies before, and obviously there's a certain degree of physics that to back up those concepts, and it was interesting trying to come up with a new look at a black hole, and to do something that obviously had a tremendous amount of drama and played out very well in the movie. The thing about the Enterprise is that it's a relatively static ship. There's not that many moving parts on it, and I was very interested in just creating some movement within the ship so that it could participate more in what it was doing. So if it went into warp, you'd actually see it change form or change shape or see some subtle difference in the ship. If it went into battle, you'd see some small change in it. And obviously I didn't want to destroy the sort of legacy of the way the ship was designed, but at the same time I wanted to give it some sort of more involvement in what it was doing. And so we did things with the dish at the front of the secondary hull, where it would essentially, when it went into warp, and it would just change its mode, it would actually open out like a flower. And it's a very subtle thing, but to me it just really makes a difference as to the believability of something like that, that it's actually it's having to do something. It's not just a static, and it actually gets involved in what it's achieving. The DM sequence was just a wonderful moment to use a lot of technology where we were creating this enormous debris field, something that I think a few years ago would have been really difficult to do. So besides destroying planets and all those sort of things, we could also do this stuff where we could create a debris field, all of the debris could be moving around, and the ship could go through it and actually literally collide with it and just knock these pieces out of the way. And it's all based on some, real physics. So it feels, to me, immensely real when you're looking at it, because everything's doing what it should do.
Forwards, come about starboard 90 degrees, drop us down underneath them, Sewell.
So the jump sequence, the JP sequence, was something that represented 1/3 of all the shots that we did at ILM for the movie.
It wasn't in the original script, and I still remember sitting in my office, and JJ walked by and said, "I've got this great idea. It's called a space jump." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" But he came back and explained how they were going to, jump out of the shuttle and fly down to the sun. And I was just like, "Wow, this is just going to be amazing." We actually were hanging guys upside down from a crane, at night, and lighting them as though, they have a sort of single source light from the sun. But essentially it's sort of space, our version of space. So we did some of it like that, and a lot of it in just straight CG. Then they enter the atmosphere, and they're flying in, well, the equivalent of a similar atmosphere to the Earth.
Away team is entering the atmosphere, sir. 20,000 meters.
Well, at that point, we were combining again different CG approaches with, real guys hanging on wires.
There was a shot where they pull their chutes, and they're all CG, obviously. And one of the big challenges in computer graphics is doing a CG parachute. It's a really, really tough thing to do.
Pull your chute! 1,000 meters!
Roger brought back plates of basically 1/3 of the platform that our three heroes were going to land on. The challenge for us in that was just recreating the platform, and then also all the extraction work to get that complete feeling that this was shot outside above Vulcan.
One of the real main approaches of the movie was that we wanted it to feel like, you were really in these places and you were immersed in these environments. And part of that is just creating a sort of very tactile space for the actors to work in. So you're trying to create this very visceral environment where you're hitting the actors with a tremendous amount of wind and energy so that they can really react as though that, you know, it's not just about acting, they're actually now physically reacting to being in that place, because quite frankly it is hard to stand up because you're getting hit with a 70-mile-an-hour wind or something. They're acting, but at the same time it's a very, very visceral kind of approach to that kind of filmmaking.
I can't let bounce. Don't move! Don't move! Here! Go!
You think you can't make mistakes, but the choices you make could get yourself and everyone under your command killed. But I believe in you, Jim.
Darkness is coming.
This could just be the beginning.
Beginning of what?
All-out war.
I request permission to go after him. I cannot allow you to do this.
Jim, you're not actually going after this guy, are you?
Let's go get this son of a bitch.
You are a poem, Kirk.
Sir, there's a ship heading right for us.
You can't even guarantee the safety of your own crew. Now, shall we begin?
I'm sorry.
We're outnumbered, outgunned.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I only know what I can do.
The ship's dead, sir. She's gone.
No, she's not.
No ship should go down without her captain.
I believe in you, Jim.